one of the things that I was very, very shocked when I came here for the first time was walking around the streets and just wide open windows.
Oh,
just
yes.
huge windows. You can see everything.
Yeah.
And it's very upsetting, very, very freaky. I don't know how
Very
to say
upsetting.
it. But, when I go to the supermarket every evening and I just look on the streets and I see the same people every night.
Watching TV.
Yeah.
In the same position. I kind of even feel like I know them. And that's just so weird.
Yeah.
In the Study in Holland podcast, we will talk about what it's like to live in the Netherlands as an international student. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Studying in Holland podcast. We will talk about what it's like to live in the Netherlands as an international student, and we will answer your questions by discussing statements. And today we will talk about the different housing options and how to find housing and other kind of tips. I'm your Dutch host Lotje, and today I'm here with Vincent.
Yes, hi, I'm Vincent. I'm 21 years old and I'm from Germany and I'm in my second year of tourism management at NHL Stenden.
And next to Vincent we have
Jade. Hi guys, I'm Jade. I'm 19 years old. I'm in my second year of creative business and I am from Zimbabwe.
Hello everyone, my name is Leah. I'm half Spanish and half Cuban. I'm 20 years old and I'm studying international business. I'm secondly on my second year.
Okay, thank you. Well, before discussing the statements, we would like to talk about the culture shock at the beginning of every episode. So who has a culture shock to share with us?
I think I have a pretty good one and it's kind of related to housing. One of the things that I was very, very shocked when I came here for the first time was walking around the streets and just wide open windows.
Oh,
just
yes.
huge windows. You can see everything.
Yeah.
And it's very upsetting, very, very freaky. I don't know how
Very
to say
upsetting.
it. But, when I go to the supermarket every evening and I just look on the streets and I see the same people every night.
Watching TV.
Yeah.
In the same position. I kind of even feel like I know them. And that's just so weird.
Yeah. I get that because in Germany you also don't have that at all. Like, if you have a low window, then the curtain is always closed.
Oh, it's exactly the same for us as well. But also all the little things on the windowsill are always so pretty, like little plants and little ornaments and stuff. And I always find myself like walking past people's houses and I'm looking like into their house because I'm looking at the little things on the
design ideas.
Yeah, and I'll just be like staring at it. I'm like, oh, I hope they don't think I'm being rude because I'm literally looking into their home.
But it's natural, we're just people, we're curious. We see a light, we're going to look.
Yeah, exactly. My room's a little bit messy. I don't know if I want everyone to walk past and just see me like just sitting there like
I'm glad
what I'm watching on TV as well.
Our house is in the, like, it starts on the first floor. So we have the perfect spot to watch everybody outside. But no one can watch and see what our living room looks like. So that's always nice.
Okay, well, let's get started with the statements. The first one we are going to discuss is it's best to arrange housing before your studies start.
Yeah, I would say definitely start looking a few months before. You can maybe be caught out a little bit. I suppose housing is a little tight, especially in the Netherlands. So if you are kind of planning on winging it when you get here, definitely not a good idea. Like, definitely look before. It is difficult. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah,
make sure just, and it'll give you peace of mind as well. Also your parents, because if they don't know what you're doing, then are they even going to bring you here?
My child has a bed, yes.
Yay.
Yeah.
For example, would you recommend to visit before and maybe go looking for houses before your study year starts?
I would say it's definitely easier to find a house if you're here.
Yes.
Because if you're not, it's so difficult to... Also, a lot of the student houses, your roommates will want to meet you.
Yeah.
And I know if I was looking for a roommate, I would definitely want to meet them before they move in because you know nothing about them. These are just complete strangers that you're going to be living with. So it's definitely easier if you're here. But I mean, I suppose it's not really possible for everyone to kind of just you know, up and just come here before. But it is possible to do online. I have done it before, but
me too, actually. Due to Corona, it just wasn't possible to travel to the Netherlands. So we did. It was supposed to be like in half an hour, just like a quick chat, and I think we ended up talking for 3 hours. And then I was like, okay, I really have to go to work. But I think we would have just kept talking, and then afterwards it was quite obvious that like they were like, yeah, you have the room. I was like, nice. So
I think that was a good sign, I guess.
Yeah.
But I also had my room in April already, and I started in September.
Okay. Oh wow, that is actually
so
pretty
April
early.
Or May. Yeah.
But rather too soon than too late, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think September is a big like influx of people looking for rooms.
August as well.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I was actually too scared to take that step of just going into a random house with random people. So I tried to look for student residence, and I definitely did it way ahead. Like I had to rent it 1-2 months before I went because I was scared there was not going to be enough space. But I mean, it's also very hard to just choose on something without being here, not knowing the culture, not knowing the language.
Let's move on to the second statement, which is finding housing is difficult for internationals.
Yes.
Yes.
100% yes.
What is going to make it easier, maybe? The process.
More houses.
I mean,
more houses, yeah.
Students
I mean,
being able to
there's always the option of like student stay, because I mean that is, if I'm correct, specifically for international students, right? Which kind of helps for your first year. It's kind of like, it's a nice, easy kind of option to go for. But I mean, if you're moving into like a house of people, I think it's quite beneficial to look for other international students as well. Also, just so that you can all speak English to each other, because Dutch houses like to speak Dutch to each other. Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I would say it is quite difficult as an international student.
Yeah, because student stay is actually really close to the campus, as you know, and they're indeed building new buildings. Because
I've seen those.
2 more, and
so
they are
too.
already 3. I used to live there myself, and I can say like a lot of internationals used to live there and still live there. For a third statement, do you think IKEA is the place to be when setting up your home here in the Netherlands?
Ooh.
I can take this one and say, actually, no. I would say the place to go for me is Marktplaats.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Marktplaats
I agree with your statement.
First of all, you enjoy it very much just to look around, find stuff, and I found so many stuff for free. Like my table, chairs, couch, just the seat, everything for free. And it's beautiful. They have antique things. There's a lot of very, very beautiful antique things.
But for example, here in the second-hand stores as well, right?
Oh,
did you ever get some things there?
Yes, I did. So when I struggled to find a place to live, and I finally got it, it was unfurnished. And I had to move in like a week or something, and I really had no furniture, no bed, nothing. I went to the second-hand store. I went there and I got everything I needed for my, like a bed, a mattress, a cupboard, a desk, a chair, a couch, all for 100 euros.
Yeah.
All of that for 100 euros. I've never been so happy in my life. I was like,
but that feels good as well, right? To get that many things for quite less amount of money.
And they delivered all of it for like 10 euros or something. And I was just like, I've really just hit the jackpot here. Like, I think I needed some luck at the time, and I was just like, yes, thank God, a win.
And also when you're looking at IKEA, for example, I was living here in Leeuwarden, it's way more complicated because it's in Groningen. You got to pay like, 50 euros, 80 euros for delivery.
Yeah.
It's cheap, it's nice. But it's, I think, a little bit more expensive.
Our fourth statement is going to be, living in a student house with others is nice.
Yes.
100%. Why it's nice?
Oh, it's just because, like, if most of your social life is at school, then you kind of just go home after class and you're like by yourself, I mean, like, obviously you go for lunch, you go to parties, you go for coffee, like with your friends. But if you can just go home and you're actually friends with your roommates, it just makes that much of a difference. It's like you can cook together, and it's also bonding on a new level. Yeah. When you live with people, like, you really create like a deeper connection with anyone else that you'll ever meet, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree. Especially when you go through half a year of curfew in the Netherlands and you're stuck together 24/7.
You're gonna have a good bond.
And you need, first of all, you need that good bond to get through the time. Otherwise, you'll just beat each other up. But I know that for me, it was, it was crazy because I didn't think that I would get that close to my roommates. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to live with them. But it was never like I'm gonna get them as like close friends that I'm still in contact with, that I FaceTime with every week, kind of like that.
Yes, for me it was kind of the same, but not really. I fully agree with you. But for example, I was staying in a student residence, so I had my own space, my own private space. I could be alone whenever I wanted, but I also had all of my friends there. So you know, especially like you said, in lockdown times, it was very, very nice to just have someone to be with, go to the room, go to blah blah blah. So I would say it also depends on the person. If you really appreciate like having your privacy and being alone, so then do that. But yeah, right now I'm also, I have a roommate, I'm sharing an apartment, so I'm also enjoying it through. Yeah. So I think it's also very nice.
And also kind of getting out of your little bubble. Yeah, I mean, like, definitely. I love meeting people that are doing different courses from me. So like if most of my friends are create a business and then your roommates, well, it's very unlikely that all of them will be studying the same thing. You can really meet a whole bunch of new people, which is nice to have a little bit of, I don't know, diversity in your...
Well, I think it's time to move on to the last statement, and that is the rent is low in the Netherlands.
Completely depends, I would say. I mean, if you look places like Amsterdam or The Hague, rent is not low. Like, rent is not low. But I don't know, here, Leeuwarden and other cities, I think it also depends to where you're coming from. If you're looking, for example, me looking from a point of view coming from Mallorca and looking at an apartment in the city, the prices would be pretty equal. But if you're looking for an apartment in Madrid, it's definitely way lower here.
Yeah. No, it's the same here. I started looking for like rooms for my exchange year, which I'm doing in Munich. It's like for 12 square meters, it's 750 euros. And here it's, I think, depends. I saw rooms for 250, but you can also pay up to 800 euros. Yeah. It always depends. And I think that's the fun thing, because you can choose according to your budget.
Coming from Zimbabwe, wow, I would say in comparison to what you pay there, it is very expensive. So when I come here and I'm, I don't know, renting a place for like 400, like that's abnormally a lot. For my parents, they were like, you know, that's really expensive. And I was just like, it's actually quite normal, you know. And it's just, well, it's for just us. Something to, exactly. It's something that you should like definitely look into before you get here. Is, I don't know, what kind of place you want to live in and what is your budget. And
I mean, if you're old enough, you can also apply, and you have your own apartment, you can also apply for government support. Yes. So that's also always
it depends on your age as well.
Yeah.
For example, 21 above has different...
you get more, I think, for different square meters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
But there are a lot of options.
There are enough options, but it indeed depends what you feel like is low and what is not, and if you think it's worth it or not. It depends. Depends on that. Well, do you guys have any good tips maybe for upcoming students regarding housing?
Start early. I would say like not maybe half a year, but 4 to 5 months in advance. And I would use every channel possible.
Like, for example, you have any recommendations that they can use, like
Facebook housing market.
Leeuwarden housing market, so useful.
Yeah.
So useful. I would say, I mean, if it's possible, always go like visit the place before you move in, because pictures can sometimes be deceiving. And I mean, you don't really want to arrive there with your suitcases and think, oh my God, I've got a contract for a year and this is where I'm living. But I mean, I haven't heard of too many that happening to too many people, but I think it's always just better to be on the safer side.
Yeah, I would say what you said, look with time. It's important to do it with some prior time behind it, and definitely be consistent with it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, keep going, stay there, even if it's only 5 minutes. Just look through your phone, see what you can find, see where you can go. Different options, just like renting platforms on the internet, Facebook Marketplace, everything. Just be consistent with it because, bueno, I don't know if we mentioned it, but there was a big housing problem with students here, so
Yeah.
you don't know what you're going to expect and what you're going to get.
Yeah, you can better indeed prevent these kind of things by doing it ahead, making sure you are indeed aware of like the different kind of platforms where you can find housing, indeed like Facebook groups, or indeed depending on where you're going to live, look in, for example, how much it is going to cost on average, and if it fits with your needs, because some people maybe might prefer cheaper while the other one would prefer their own kitchen. It really depends on that. And well, if you are going to be new somewhere, it's maybe a good idea to pick a place that is shared, like what you mentioned about the roommates. It's going to be a easy step up to make friends if you're going to live with people. And well, for the furniture, well, you can do well, like the second-handed Marktplaats, but if you prefer like new products, you can go to IKEA. But if you want to save some money, you can do both, for example.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and if you have the opportunity to have like a furnished place, that can come in advance as well.
But then make sure that you actually pay the money that the furniture is worth, because it's often that
people are scamming other people.
They want so much money for then second
I've seen that a lot. I've seen that a lot. So also be careful who you're buying your furniture from, and
if you take over and don't make them take you over the furniture if it's not in the contract.
No.
Just because it's easier for them.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
only for their own benefit. Like, think about yourself. Well, I think that was a good conclusion. Well, next time we will discuss Dutch food. That's going to be very interesting. And for yes. Well, for now we reached the end of the episode, and I would like to thank you guys for joining us in this episode. And well, if you want any additional information, if you are an upcoming student, you can check the NHL Stenden website. And well, let's hope you're going to listen to the next podcast. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank
you
very much
guys.
for having me, and adios.
Doei doei.
Over and out.